Hello, Forecaster here again, and we are back for episode 98, attempt number 2. So I'd already recorded episode 98, and then accidentally deleted the footage. So here we go again. So in that original recording, I had made this. This is a hatchery. So in the last episode, we looked at fish breeding using the fish feeder, and I had caught some neon tetras, and some of them have rotted away. So they produce flux droplets and water droplets, and the water droplets are just water containers containing a bucket of water. Now these flux droplets, however, can be used to make neon lamps using pearls, and they can be used for the fish scanner, of course. They can also be used to make magnesium combined with water, which is neat because magnesium is used to purify titanium. And they can also be used to charge the RF fishing rod, but of course I can't make that, so that is irrelevant. You can also pour it into buckets. Don't really have a use for that either. So when the fish have run out their life cycle, they will leave their corpses behind, which are these, and they will leave a lump of fish eggs, which is this. Now, originally I had to catch 2 pairs of neon tetras because I needed one of these fish eggs to make the hatchery. You can also make an advanced fish breeding book, apparently, which is interesting, using those. And you can also craft them into caviar, so you can use them for food if you like. The primary use for fish eggs, however, is to put them in a hatchery. And you'll see that it renders a fish egg in there, and almost immediately it's rendered fish in there, which means that some of the eggs have hatched into fish. So I got a male and a female, or a male and a female neon tetra, and you are guaranteed to get at least one of each gender, because as you saw, it said there was 130 eggs in the lump, and this will go through all of them and hatch them. And if one of the genders aren't produced, it will spawn one of them in anyway, just to guarantee that you can continue breeding. So we got 2 male neon tetras and 1 female. So then we put them in here, and it will cycle through it will do these cycles, and each cycle takes away 10 health points. And so when this reaches 0, the fish will die. They will produce an egg, or a lump of eggs. And each cycle consumes an amount of fish food, which depend on the traits of the fish. So in the last footage, I also made this fish scanner, which is made from 6 of any drops, a pearl, which I got from fishing. I think it was an orange pearl, any fish, a dead fish, and a little bit of redstone. And if you open up the fish scanner, you can put a fish here, and it doesn't use any resources. And then you can see all of the traits here. I have no idea what these mean, really. I don't think they're used for anything, because they're all negative. But you can see we have which species it is, lifespan, fertility, productivity, food usage, which determines how much food is used each cycle, I assume. So each cycle should use 1 piece of fish food, presumably. Yep. And then you can see it produces some products here, which is determined by productivity, how much it can produce. We have water needed, which determines how much water needs to surround the hatch or the fish feeder for them to be able to do any work. Then we have the salt and temperature tolerances, which determines which environment they have to be in. Now I can't measure these right here because I don't have a an aquatic environmental scanner or something like that. Let's do a search for mariculture. And it should be, there it is, aquatic environment analyzer. This is made using any dead fish and a compass. I'll probably make one of those eventually. But yeah, so each time some eggs are produced, or it might be when they're hatching, they have a chance to mutate, a pretty small chance, and they could mutate into a different species, I think. I assume you can put a different male and a different female in here to crossbreed and such. Now, these aren't that useful. They're more useful than the poison droplets from the stingrays. But I would like to catch some other type of fish that produces something that I can actually use, like the one that produces slime balls would be nice. But this will do for now. Still, I can use them to make magnesium, which is great because I can use that to purify titanium and build up a supply of magnesium. But yeah. I also added a couple of recipes and have made some additional tweaks to Enviromine. So now, I might have talked about this in the lost footage, but by default, these dead fish, which is almost rotted away, you can't cook them. You can make some basic food items with them. Let's throw those in there. So if you have a look at this, for example, we can make a life core. And then we'll have a few crafting recipes from mariculture. We can make sushi. Miso soup. Use it for the environment analyzer, of course, and we can make fish meal out of them, which you can smelt to turn into liquid fish food, of course. But I've added this recipe, which uses the ore dictionary you can see in gray there. All of these are ore dictionaried under fish. So I added a smelting recipe that any ore dictionary fish will cook into a Minecraft cooked fish. So I can use these for proper food. Now, of course, they don't have an individual item per, so there's not cooked neon tetra, for example. But that's fine. I think it's better than nothing. So yeah, I might actually cook up these in the future, I need to produce some more cooking oil for my oven. I've also configured Enviromine to rot a couple of items. I added wheat a while ago. I might have mentioned this already, I'm not sure. And this rots into moldy wheat, which is a forestry item. Pretty sure I've talked about this. But now I've also added pumpkin blocks, melon blocks, because these aren't food items, they don't rot by default. And mushrooms. The mushrooms, however, rot in 14 days and not 7, because it felt appropriate. Not sure if that would actually be the case, or if mushrooms are more resistant to rot than other food items or organic items. But that's how I've configured it anyway, because you can't really do a whole lot with mushrooms. They produce, dang it, they produce pretty simple foods. Well, I guess you can use them in quite a bit of different dishes, but by themselves, all you can do with them is make mushroom soup out of them. Let's see, stew. I didn't know you could do that. That has to be... Oh. Something has to add this recipe, because in vanilla you only have this, where you need one of each. Well, anyway, so that's a thing. Now I realize I might have set all of these to rot into moldy wheat because I forgot to change the target item. So I might have to fix that, but that's fine for now. I'll fix that later. I've updated a couple of mods, and those are Railcraft had an update with a few bug fixes. Open Computers had an update with a few bug fixes. I've also updated Open Modular Turrets. And the reason for this is that Kerdos linked me to a development build that has the IC2 support I wanted. So we can get rid of this engine. I'd stolen one of the gates. I'll show that in a little bit. So now, if I put this cable here, this should connect directly to the turret base and power the buffer from my electrical grid. Now I want to measure this and see that no power is flowing, which means it's stopped draining power when it's full, which is good. Since it's a development version, it could very well have had a bug where it would keep drawing power even if it's full. But it doesn't, so can leave it like that. I need to make some more bullets for that turret. So I stole the gate. Actually, we can check on the fish. They're dead. Right. I'll have these. Can actually eat them directly, and it will apply a speed buff to me for a very, very short duration. That's kind of neat. Right, so you'll see that it says 130 eggs remaining. So it's going to try to hatch all of those. Most of them won't result in anything. So I put this here, and these gates, this gate specifically, is configured to check this, to check if the crucible furnace has any fluid in its tank. And when it doesn't, it will close this power pipe, which will cut off the power to this adapter. Because if you recall, the adapter was drawing some power constantly, which was keeping my steam engines going pretty much all the time. And this other gate is configured so that when there is fluid in the tank, it will open the pipe again, which will allow power to flow into the adapter, which will power this wooden pipe, which will draw the fluid out of the crucible furnace. And I've tested this, and I know that it works. So that's where the gates went. I could, of course, use a more advanced gate that has more than one trigger and action pair to just do that in a single gate, but it doesn't matter that much. Something is targeting me. Let's see how this is going. We have a male and a... No, we have two female. Did I get a male before? No. I only have female neon tetras right now, which is not very useful. There we have a male one. And the egg is gone from the hatchery, so that was it. Let's see if any traits changed. I did put one in here, didn't I? Yeah, there's a male one. So this was the last one, I think. Looks like the temperature tolerance is increasing, and no other traits have changed at the moment. These are both the same, so we're going to want to put these in. Actually, I'm going to put a female neon tetra in, and then store these, and then put a male stingray in, and see what happens. Now this doesn't have... This actually has more health points than the neon tetra, even though it has already expended part of its lifespan. We're going to run out of fish food soon, so I'm going to go downstairs and get the... or lag downstairs and get the ladle. We're going to refill that a little bit. Probably going to need to produce some more of that. Going to grab a bit of you, refill that, and then there we go. Nope. Dang it. Go in. There we go. So now that's full again. We're now producing both poison and flux droplets. So we have two different species in here. It's going to be interesting to see what we get out of these. Maybe we'll get a neon tetra with a longer lifespan, but higher productivity, or we might get a stingray with a long lifespan and higher productivity. Not that I really want that second one, but it would be interesting. Maybe we'll get a new species, who knows. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put those in the crucible furnace to make some more fish food. And this is going to take a while, I guess. I've also rearranged here a little bit. I've put my blast furnace on top of the compressor, and I made some more pulling and ejector upgrades in here, and they're both set to up. The idea being that the compressed air cells, when they run out or are emptied, they will be pulled into the compressor and be refilled, and the compressor will automatically put the refilled cells back into the blast furnace. However, it seems that the machines don't care what they are pulling in. They don't check to see what goes into the inventory. For example, I can't put this bucket in here. Oh wait, I guess because what happened was that this slot got some refined iron ingots inserted, which prevented the cells from being pulled in. But I guess that might be because the compressor accepts those to compress them into refined iron blocks. So that might actually make sense. Still, it's not what I wanted, so but I'm not sure what I can do about it. I could make enough cells so that there are always empty cells in here, so there's a cycle going on. But that would mean that would make it harder to use the compressor for other things. I might make a second one and have one that is responsible for maintaining the cells in the blast furnace, and then have one here that I can use for other things. The reason I did that was because I've started making steel, aka refined iron, for making rails, for making large amounts of tracks. As you can see, I have a bunch stored up here. I've also made a large amount of ties to make rail beds, which are also for making tracks, of course, because I intend to start working on the railway again soon. So there we have that. So the neon tetra died. Wait, what? One egg? That's... Is that because only one of the fish died? I guess. So, wonder what happens if we put in another female, because now the this should die first because it has less health. So I guess we'll see what happens there. We'll put this in here, and we get a Stingray Neon Tetra hybrid. That's interesting. So it has normal productivity and epic lifespan, which is the same as this. So we put this in here. So it now has the inactive species is the Neon Tetra one. Not sure what the yellow and blue values mean, what the difference is. I'm also not sure what this will mean if I use this to produce stuff. It's a female. Interesting. So this should be almost dead. 3 more cycles and it will die, and we'll see what happens. This will be unbalanced now because I wonder if there's a way to kill the fish so you can cook them, because you can't cook the live fish. What happens if you do this? And that's odd, but whatever. Guess you can't kill them. Maybe I should add a recipe where you craft them with a sword or something. So that died and didn't produce any eggs. I guess the female has to die. Oh, you get nausea by eating those. That's good to know, I guess. So we don't have a male stingray, so I guess we'll take a male neon tetra and throw in here. The female is going to die before the male one. This is interesting. I want to catch some more fish species. Maybe build a second tank with its own fish feeder, so I can have 2 pairs working at the same time. There's something in there. Oh, there was another... Oh, okay. Right. So, of course, like I said, it produces 1 male and 1 female guaranteed. So, I have 2 of these hybrids. I just missed it, or didn't get it out of the hatchery for some reason. Well, I think that's it for this episode. In the next one, we're going to do some programming work on Serene, because he's not behaving as I would like. There are some issues with the mining program, and I'm going to try to figure out what those are. So, I will see you then.